how I made this simple modular tile wargaming board. Hi, I'm Chris from Good Enough Scenery, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how I did exactly that. But what do I mean by modular? I mean that within a couple of minutes you can move it around and you have an entirely different setup like this one here. So there's two main modular features. There's the modular hill and there's the modular river, and by moving them around you have different setups which will create completely different scenario based gameplay and different kind of choke points and other things. Add some scatter terrain on top of this and you have got a fantastic gaming board. Early start here, still wearing my dressing gown, and it starts by me cutting this foam into the right size sheets. Now I do have tools which make this job a lot easier. You can do this with just a knife. It's just quicker to do it with a hot wire cutter, but as I made this for a customer, that's why I have the equipment. Now in terms of doing the river, it's important that they all join at the same point, so I'm taking some time here just to mark the edges of each one. See, I've got a little drawing there in blue and green which shows me what tiles I need to make, and I'm making the marks in the appropriate places so I know where my kind of cutting points are going to be. So it doesn't take a huge amount of effort to do this, and requires a knife and a ruler. So if you can use a knife and a ruler, then you can make sure that you get things that match up like this. And look, lo and behold, it matches because I did some measuring. 2 thumbs up for measuring there. Now in terms of cutting the river pieces, I've got my wire at an angle there, and that's so that when the pieces join up, they are all joining at the same angle. You could have it as vertical line. I like to have it as an angle because it feels like it makes a bit more sense. So starting with a nice simple corner piece there, and yes, I put the little drawing with the piece so I know which bit's which, and to know which bits I've done and haven't done. So this is a straight piece that I'm doing here, and just because it's straight doesn't mean it has to be boring. So you can create all sorts of wiggles and stuff as long as it goes through the same points at the end of it. That's all that matters, because between A and B anything can happen. Now this piece, the longer piece, is going to have a bit of a forward to it, so I'm making sure that the wire goes through at a nice flat angle compared to the flat, so that it works a lot better as a forward. And just zipping through, hopefully this is sped up. It's quick. It's not that quick, but yeah, that's what one of the long ones look like, and then the final one is the long curve. So again, doing a similar thing, just cutting off one and then cutting off the other, just trying to make it all interesting shapes, but no plan. I'm literally making this up as I go along in terms of where it goes, and it's Astrid having a little wander in the background. Onto the modular hill. So they started with some 30mm foam. The rest of it's been on 20mm so far, but this is going to be going on top of the 20mm section. So using the hot wire cutter here just to start creating a vague shape. Then the wire snapped, so had to redo that. But it ends up looking like that as a rough shape to it. Again, no massive plan. I think I did draw a line which I vaguely stayed to, but didn't really particularly have a plan. Now it's time to glue the boards to the foam, and I was using some, it's not instant nails, it was a more expensive one, which ended up not working, and I ended up gluing them down with PVA glue in the most part. Got away with it on the river tiles, but on the other ones I had to pull them up and then stick them down again with PVA glue, because otherwise it would have been an absolute disaster. Now this tube of stuff, it's important to get it right up to the edges, because when we do the resin pour later on, we do not want the resin leaking underneath the foam, because I've had that happen before, and by golly, it's a disaster. So once the things are stuck down, I put them in a nice pile and put a couple of big weight plates on top, so they've got some weight going through them, so they're held nicely in place. But again, look, always going right up to the edge of the foam underneath. Back to our modular hill now, and I decided there should be kind of 2 points at which you can get up to the top of the hill at opposite corners. This was something I discussed with the customer, and that's what he wanted to go with. So I'm using the handheld hot wire cutter here, and I'm trying to just make it a nice kind of nice slope on one side that's kind of got rocky edges to it, and the other one I was trying to make it a bit more like a mound that was kind of sloping up to that. Had a break, then came back to it, and then I'm using the handheld wire cutter to just create some interesting shapes and angles on the side of it. Really quick and easy way to kind of zip through this. I'll put a link to the hot wire cutter that I use in the description. You just pick it off Amazon for like, I don't know, 25 quid, something like that. It's not massively expensive, but then I want to make it a bit more interesting. So just using a knife and using a ruler and using some tin foil, I'm just cutting and gouging and slicing into this foam, and just creating some different shapes and textures and things, so that when it's eventually painted and dry brushed, it ends up looking more interesting. So, you know, nothing particularly complicated. I mean, that texture you're seeing just there, just a ball of tin foil rolled up and then rolled across the surface, and it makes it, you know, that looks like perfectly good stone. Then it was a case of deciding exactly where I'm going to cut through this thing. So I've got my long level here, and then drew a line through it with a knife, because knives are for drawing apparently. And then to cut it through it, I use my flat ruler because it means I could go through vertically. And these two pieces are only ever going to be at the edge of the board or next to each other, so if the cut did happen to be all over the place, it's not the end of the world, but fortunately it was actually nice and straight. Now to carry on to do the top, I got a spare bit of foam, put it on top, and then turned it upside down and kind of drew the edge of the underneath piece so that this piece could go up nice and flush with it, maybe with a little bit of an overhang. And from here I pretty much made it up as I went along, using the kind of shape of the foam that I had already as a bit of a guide to it, but just trying to make it a bit more interesting. So did that, and then did a similar thing, just kind of scraping and cutting and rolling it with foam just to make the top surface match the lower one, and just make it all a bit more, you know, interesting to look at. It's the sort of thing that I don't, unless you're putting a lot of right angles in it, I don't really think you can go wrong. Then I took a smaller piece and drew the edge of that because I wanted to have a small step of grass that led up to the next part. So I made sure that fit in nicely. Then kind of cut off the edges at a bit of an angle because I was going to have something going on top of that, so that it kind of led up to it as a nice kind of grassy into rocky type hill thing, which is really good English and great words. So glad you're listening to this, right? With that all nicely aligned and I was happy with it, it was time to move on to sticking it down. Now on the other side, all I had was a couple of rocks that I cut and just stuck on top. Now this here I am using is Instant Nails. It is pretty cheap, and this does work absolutely perfectly every time, so I will not be indulging in the more expensive one in the future. But with this, I'm just making sure the two boards underneath are aligned with each other, and I'm making sure the hills themselves are aligned so that when these boards are next to each other as part of the gaming board, they, you know, form a nice looking hill. And from here, just stuck the rocks down on one side, and then the cliff bits you saw me do just a moment ago are stuck down as well. I then base coated the entire upper surfaces in brown paint mixed with PVA glue as a sort of sealant slash colour. And this means that, you know, it's sealed, and also means that any flock that does come off leaves a brown thing underneath, so it looks like earth rather than black, which wouldn't look quite right. Then painted all of the cliff faces just with grey. Not really trying to get into all of the details, sort of trying to kind of vaguely kind of put a mid-highlight, I don't know. So it's lighter than the black, but it's not going to be our top highlight. So I did that on all of the riverbanks, and I did that on the cliffs, as I said, as well. Then I took the stuff which is hanging basket lining material, and I cut it into some kind of fairly random-ish shapes, but some specifically cut at certain shapes so that they could form the edges of the cliff edges, because I think it ends up looking like quite thick turf once it's had the static grass bit on top. And this is the bit I was talking about here, where I wanted it to be a nice step up, so I had a bit of the material there. And I did that in a few places over the board just to create a bit of height variation, as well as a bit more visual interest. Then it was on to the flocking, so I covered it everywhere apart from the cliff faces and the where I just put the hanging basket material, and then went and flocked the entire board. There was a bit of a mismatch in the colour here, which I had to correct later on, which I haven't included in this. But yeah, just chucked loads of flock down, and then, you know, get the excess off, collect that up because that can be reused later on, and just made sure that I got every bit of glue covered, and it went all right really. Then onto the static grass thing. So I put static grass over a few different places, about every single one of the places I put the hanging basket material. This is a static grass applicator. It's a really cheap one. So 2 different colours of static grass. Make sure it's earthed, make sure you don't touch the grill because it really, really hurts. And then just shaking that and covering the entire thing. And the combination of the hanging basket material and the static grass gives this really nice, thick looking turf thing that goes on. That and then a bit of kind of dirty earth type flock as well ends up looking great. But just that in itself, I think the edge of that looks like it does when there's grass growing at the edge of a cliff. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, this is the dirty earth flock that I was talking about. There's sprinkling this in a few places, and I added this in a few places later on as well, but kind of making it a bit more interesting so it isn't just grass, and then taking the static grass applicator again and doing the same thing over these kind of raised areas here. I think it very quickly turns it from what on earth is that to something which is quite visually interesting, as you can see here. And particularly on that cliff edge, I think that looks fantastic. Now we're going to do our actual highlights. So this is dry brushing in white. So I'm trying to work from top to bottom, so I'm picking up the higher parts in general. But I think very quickly it just starts looking like stone or cliff faces do. Not difficult at all. It's literally just some dry brushing. So getting some paint on the brush, getting the excess off, and then working in one direction only. And now this is a really important part of it if you do want to have a river in your board, is making the dams. So I've played with lots of different ways of doing these, and let me talk you through how I do this now. So we'll take some acetate sheet. It could just be plastic, but acetate sheet seems to work well with me. And I've got some UV resin here. So the first step is to just put like a bead of it along the edge here, and then we're going to set that UV resin so it just kind of sticks to the edge of the board. So you've got your acetate sheet just forming the dam there, but it has absolutely no strength. It's just kind of vaguely held at one end. Now what I'm doing is basically covering the entire bit of that acetate sheet with this UV resin. So it's forming a barrier between the acetate sheet and where the resin is going to be poured in. So essentially it leaves the resin with no place to go but to stay in the space that you want it to. It will use a fair amount of UV resin, but the amount of UV resin used is made up for the fact that it's so safe if you do this properly. Now the riverbed, I just chucked a load of grey stones. You can glue them down, but it isn't really necessary. If you're putting flock at the bottom of your river, you will need to glue that down because it will come up and it will float and it will look less good than you want it to. If you're using stones, then stones will sink and stay at the bottom. So I've mixed up some epoxy resin here with a very slight blue tinge to it, and just slowly taking my time to pour this. And sometimes I mark the height on the acetate sheet that I want to pour up to. To be honest, I just eyeballed the entire thing here and it went perfectly, but I've done quite a lot of these. You can, if you prefer, put a mark showing the height that you want to pour your resin up to. So I think I ended up doing about 1.5 of the containers that I've got there, which just happens to be a half of an empty milk bottle. So that's really useful information that you need to know. You can use other things other than milk bottles, just to be clear. But I do really like the resin pouring thing, just tipping in and just seeing as it all flow out. And I'm one of the probably few terrain creators that doesn't try to do anything about bubbles at all. If you mix it all correctly, then you shouldn't have too many bubbles. And if double bubbles do appear, well, you get bubbles in water. So I just let it do its own thing. But that's just me. Now, just to finish off these cliffs a little bit more, I've got some glue and just put it onto the edges of things towards the bottom where some rocks might gather. I've got some grey sand and some kind of grey stone flock, and kind of just sprinkling this from a bit of a height from above, and just seeing where it falls, so allowing it to naturally fall wherever it happens to fall, and leaving it there, because that's kind of how rocks form at the bottom of hills, right? Because that's how they got there. To finish off entirely, once the resin was set, this is like 24 hours later, I'm using some Vallejo water texture. So this is like very thick glue. It's not thick. It's a glue which goes on like this, like it's PVA, and then it will dry clear. So you chuck a load of it down, and then you can stipple your brush, and it will create a texture in it. Which once it's all set, the texture will stay, but it will have gone transparent, and it really makes the top surface look like it's actually water. I mean, it looks kind of like still water when it's like clear, but it doesn't really look like river water. So anyway, this is the completed board. You can see the river texture a little bit there, and as I go across there, you can see it kind of glistening. But this is the completed board. This took 10 days start to finish, not working on it every day. I made some mistakes along the way, which I had to correct. And it goes in all sorts of different setups. So this is a 2-minute time lapse going from one setup. I mean, you can imagine there being some sort of fort on the encompassed by the river there, having a bridge across as well, and you've got a setup that's like that, which is completely different to the one you had at the start, but it could be different in, again, you could have the river being a really big feature of the board and cutting across there and having the hill on one side of that, and again, that's going to play into entirely different scenarios for whatever your favorite game system is. This was for Middle-earth strategy battle game, and as a avid player like myself, I can imagine this being used for all sorts of different battles. Hopefully it's giving some Rohan vibes, because that's what was in my head when I made it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it's inspired you, and I'll catch you for another video whenever there's one ready.